Chapter 13. Silent Treatment. That night in her aloneness, looking through the glass window, feeling breathless in the beauty of the view as the light emanates from the moon, touches a mood of loneliness. She is wrapped with longing, so immersed in how Hyunki looked at her, recalling him whispering, "I want to capture you in my eyes," which sounded so sweet in her ears, making her tingle. Her heart beating like crazy and at the same time confusing her. What was his intention in me? Riel couldn't help asking herself. Whilst recalling that moment when their eyes met as he pinned her against the wall, she could have surrendered herself to him if he strongly subdued her. When their faces almost touched each other, wanting her to kiss him, all those moments were reflected in her memory. He made her weak and helpless that she couldn't control her tears from falling. The longing to love him, and within that painful, suffocating feeling, she tried to call his name silently. The thought of Hyunki filled her, and she couldn't sleep, tossing and turning until the sun was about to rise on the horizon. She grew up in bed and quickly took a shower so she won't be late for breakfast with Hyunki. On the other hand, Hyunki was already at the breakfast table, and when she was about to greet him, he was reading while glued to the newspaper. Then, in sarcastic words, he spoke. "How's your night? Have you slept well on that spacious, soft, and snugly warm bed bringing you to the cloud of dreams?" She felt his biting, sarcastic remark and was very puzzled, so, pretending to be unaffected, said in a cheerful note, "Oh yes, sir. My bed has put me to a good and very delightful rest, and if not the sun woke me up, I might still be in bed, sir. Thank you." And when she seated herself, he stood up and leaned on her side of the table, whispered, "Go ahead. I am close to being pissed off." Riel, she was upset about what he said. Both were quiet in the car, and it seemed that Hyunki was in a bad mood. Silence became the mood of their day together. Riel was making a fuss on the papers she was working on to get his attention to speak, but to no avail. He remained unmoved. His face was dark and stern. They were still not talking despite her presence during that meeting with the department heads, and both were silent, like strangers, even when they were busy completing their paperwork in his office. She went near him to show him some documents and hear his thoughts, but he recklessly grabbed them from her hand, his face looking blank, not even a glance at her. She felt so downhearted the way he is giving her the silent treatment. It was only when Mr. Gan Shiwoo, who bothered to prepare a gathering with the department heads, invited them for lunch. Riel felt like an outcast as Hyunki continued to avoid her. Then, after a while, Hyunki rose from behind his chair, gave a sticky glance at Riel, then broke the silence between them. "Coming with me?" He approached her and offered his hand, sweetly smiling. How could she refuse when his mood changed? And with that dimpled smile fluttering her heart, she was so glad that the silent treatment was over.